Vresa pleštar numa ye, numa ye, numa ye, ki putau shi dragostiadinte, miamintesk te o kitaye. Hello everyone, Darth Vegan here from Brighton. I've just left my hotel and I'm heading down to the conference centre, wherever that is. So yeah, see you there. All right, my man. Woo! The leader's here. Sir Keir Starmer. Woo! Oh wow. Oh, he's going in for an important meeting. Oh, sorry, sir. Wow. It seems here we have the Stop Brexit people. Including this man. Sort of Stop Brexit guy. God. Right, so here I am, waiting for a form so I can get a lanyard so I can enter the place. I was standing out there with the anti-Brexit people for a while, so yeah.
Survive it too. We saw the very best of our movement through this crisis. Our Labour councillors and mayors fought for their communities alongside Manchester's finest Marcus Rashford. They fed hungry kids when ministers wouldn't. The Welsh Labour government led the UK's most successful vaccination programme. Our trade unions fought for furlough, for PPE and for their members to stay safe. And our key workers. You served our country. You saved our country. You deserve better, and Britain deserves better, and Labour will be better. Conference, we must become the government our nation deserves, not the one it has. When I think about the sacrifices working people have made, I think of Jill and Leslie, Unison reps, who live in my constituency and do the same job that I used to do. They visit elderly and vulnerable people who can't manage on their own. They're paid less than the minimum wage, which is already too low to live on because they're not paid between the visits. With every trip, for every person they care for, they face the choice. Do I cut down on my time caring, or do I work longer without pay? And it
comes, we will win, win, win.
Trade unions and businesses worked with the Welsh Government to build ventilators in record time. And our NHS worked with thousands of volunteers, Oxford University and business, to create a vaccine in months when that would normally have taken years. We've shown that we are stronger together. And that's the title of our policy roadmap. Now today, I'm proud to present to conference its first 2 reports. Britain in 2030 shows how Labour would start to meet the biggest challenges of our age, from an electric car revolution to catch up for every child, to a Race Equality Act, to a trade policy that protects jobs at home while securing human rights abroad, and much, much more. The report shows how much better our country will be under Labour. I'm so grateful to all the Labour members, trade unions, shadow Labour teams, members of the MPF and socialist societies who've contributed to it.
Okay people, so I'm just sitting down to a spot at dinner. It's a minzy platter with bread and potatoes and waffles and hummus and salad and some tomatoes and olives down there as well. It's pretty nice. Oh yeah, machine. And yeah, there's a telly there showing what's going on in the main hall bit there, which is actually just there. But yeah, it's just a nice view out there, isn't it? And yeah. Also, whilst I was waiting for this thing, I did have to go to the toilet, but there were no toilets available, so I just, went on the street, and yeah, people weren't too happy about that, so yeah. Oh well. Right, people, so, I'm just, they've just read out the votes for the policy points, and then I came out and saw that they were doing a protest for the Uyghurs in China, and I sort of held their sign for a bit. And now I'm going for another meeting, this time for proportional representation, as that's sort of because I see that as a way of making the voting more fair and keeping the Tories out of government. So it's quite important, even though the leadership doesn't want to really talk about it too much. For God's sake, pushing politics aside for a moment, this is a nice church. Isn't it just?
In our electoral system, the geography, the map of electoral contests is really bad for Labour, for reasons that are mainly beyond Labour's control, and it is liable to get worse rather than to get better as time goes by. So there are a number of reasons for this. One that's very sort of proximate and sort of bureaucratic is we have a boundary review coming, and this is likely to reduce the number of Labour MPs, in particular because in Stephen's neck of the wood in Wales, the number of MPs is going to fall a lot, and Labour tend to do historically quite well in Wales, I believe. So that is one problem. There is also a longer running problem, or rather a problem back to 2019, which is, it used to be the case that a lot of Labour MPs were returned in the lowest turnout seats in the country. And in terms of the relationship between votes and seats, that was good news for Labour because it meant that Labour MPs got elected by relatively few votes. Many of the seats in the so-called Red Wall that went to the Tories fall into that category, which means that the Conservatives now have a more efficient conversion of votes to seats.
To get rid of the supplementary vote for all mayoral and PCC elections and replace it with first past the post, and I think that's how system that's doing anything for the Labour Party, and it's doing everything for the Conservatives. And just recently, my very clever research colleagues have done some research into those mayoral elections, and looking across the board, what they've seen is that successful Labour mayoral candidates are picking up 50% or over second preferences in the runoff section of those votes. And the Conservative candidates, successful Conservative candidates, are not. And what that tells us is that Labour candidates are picking up support from the breadth of the community, from voters of other parties, but getting lots of support from across the community. And I think that's really important, because this is not just about winning, it's also about how you want to govern, how you want to represent.
3% of the time. So when you aggregate the post-Second World War history of this country, the amount of time that the Conservatives have been in government, and compared to the amount of votes that they've actually secured, it is an aberration. It is actually an affront to democracy. I think First Past the Post also stokes disillusion and discontent. It stokes millions of people feeling disenfranchised. Listen, I'm absolutely no fan of UKIP, but in 2015 UKIP got 4 million votes and 1 MP. Now, a lot of people will say it's good that UKIP didn't get into Parliament, but just look at the impact that they've had on our politics from outside. I believe passionately that sunlight is the best form of disinfectant, and that by not giving, not exposing UKIP, not having them in Parliament, having to actually stand up and come under scrutiny, they enable to present themselves as some kind of insurgency, and we all know the results of that.
Okay, people, so I'm back in my hotel. I'm tired, so I can't really be bothered to do a lot. It could be the wine I had at the last meeting, or it could just be that I've done a lot, and also my shifting sleep patterns as well. Trying to get into the whole thing of turning off. Although I must say, at the last meeting they did say that at the end that the thing with proportional representation, people have been working sort of in a meeting to try and get it on the debate stage, and it has passed, and it will be debated on and voted on, and if it's successful, then it will be in Labour's manifesto for the next election. Yeah, proportional representation. So yeah, interesting. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.